going to be an exciting game. Madagascar, that emphatic victory they had against Egypt that saw them qualify, now sees their return, of course, to the FIBA AfroBasket, and it's going to be an exciting showdown. Josh Bett alongside the head coach of Nigeria back in 2015 and FIBA AfroBasket champion Will Voigt. And coach, it must be exciting to see your old team up here live in Luanda.
Yeah, it was great catching up with a lot of them earlier on. Of course, the head coach, Abdul Rahman Mohammed, was my assistant coach on that 2015 AfroBasket championship team. And on that roster, Stan Okoye was actually one of our youngest players. So to see him out there and leading this group is pretty special for me.
Well, no doubt Nigeria will be coming into this tournament with very high expectations, of course. And one thing about them is they'll have to go up against a team that is definitely hungry for success. But, when looking at Madagascar, you only have to go back to the qualifiers. It was that big victory at home in the final window against Egypt. Many wouldn't have said that they would have been favorites, but my word, coach, they put on a hell of a showcase and thus cemented their tickets for the continent's greatest competition.
Well, credit to them. They're really an upstart basketball nation, young group of players that first had some success at the 2023 Under-19 World Cup. So it's great to see them continuing that forward with the men's national team.
Key players you want to look out for, Citraka, not to mention Madi. Both players having made their trade in their early years in France. And, you kind of wonder, now again, it's here at the international stage. What kind of influence? And there is Madi there, coming from the Alain Chalon Academy. And, of course, playing JUCO basketball, then obviously going to CB Moran. He is going to be, no doubt, on the Nigeria scouting report.
No, absolutely. A talented young player. I actually coached him at the BWB camp in Cairo several years ago. So then he was a 16-year-old, and you could see clearly a talented player, really dominant scorer. So 24 points per game in that Under-19 World Cup, but I'm sure he's looking to have a great performance today.
Now, when looking at your old team, of course, it's a very, very evenly balanced team. Players with NBA experience in the case of Josh Okoji, but also the likes of international experience. Where do you see this Nigerian team going? No doubt the expectations will be high, but realistically, are we looking at a team that could stand on the podium?
Well, I think anytime Nigeria shows up at a tournament, just from a talent standpoint, you've got to consider them. This will be an interesting group, not as big as normally you see from a Nigerian team. So some of these wings are going to have to play at the 4, show that they can rebound that position, but the talent is there to have a great tournament.
Well, there's games going on today here in Luanda. The other venue, Namib, will see some very exciting games going on. Well, later on, we'll see the opening game for both Tunisia and Cameroon. Of course, both teams, as mentioned, the expectations are high. Tunisia, 2-time defending champions of the AfroBasket, defending the crown for a three-peat. That is always going to be the tough task.
Well, you can never count out a Tunisian team. So different group coming here. A lot of their veterans have now retired from the national team, so it's going to be interesting to see how this new generation carries forward. But, obviously a lot of tradition of winning there.
Well, we're going to introduce the key players for these two teams. And, you mentioned about the head coach of Nigeria, Abdulrahman Mohammed. He was your assistant before. And, what kind of style of play do you think he's going to imprint on these Nigerian players?
Well, I think this is going to be a really fun game. Both teams want to get up and down. Both are going to look to shoot a lot of threes. So I would expect a high-scoring, fast affair today.
Well, for Madagascar, they have indeed made a few changes in the coaching ranks, and now they have Jean Douaglin as their new head coach. And you just wonder, coming into a tournament like this, what would, in your mind, you've just only come back to the FIBA AfroBasket. It's almost like, you're living the dream, of course. But at that point, then you just want to go a little bit further. But where can you see this team ending up?
Well, I think it's going to be interesting. A lot of these players started having success at the Under-19 level and will play a big role on this team. So, Madi especially, right? Is he ready at such a young age to now be the star at the men's level? So I would expect that they're going to look to put these young players into big roles early on, see how they handle those situations, and grow from there.
Of course, Nigeria, after that 2015 success that, you and you players had at that time at the continental level here at the FIBA AfroBasket, they quickly became the hottest team, the greatest team in Africa. I mean, all you have to do is go to the Olympics 2021, that historic win for Nigeria against the United States heading to Tokyo. But of course, it just goes to show the competitive level of this FIBA AfroBasket. You got to bring your best. And if you bring your best, then you can start to build your legacy and start to build history for your country.
Yeah, you know, I think that's always been the challenge for Nigeria is to maintain some continuity with a group of players. So it was something we were trying to build in 2015, and obviously saw a great run of success from that group. You know, different group of guys here. So can they rekindle some of that magic and then, you know, use that to move forward?
Well, you just saw on the screen, for all our viewers watching live, the young man number 22 for Madagascar, Citraka. Now, I just want to go back to that game against Egypt. It was a phenomenal time, the final window of the FIBA AfroBasket. And of course, where he may be a little bit undersized, Coach, where I see his advantages, you know, he's a 4-stretch 5. Maybe you can put him at the 3 if you like, but he has that ability offensively to match up very physically with the bigs. But, you know, where defensively are going to be areas where they could probably be exposed against this Nigeria team?
Well, you know, obviously there's a lot of firepower there. So, you know, Kogi, NBA player, somebody that's capable of filling it up. There's a level of athleticism from the wings that's going to be challenging for anybody.
Also, you look at this Madagascar team as well. I mean, I believe only one player playing domestically. There is a Kogi himself. While he most likely is going to be the go-to player for this national team. And, you know, with his experience, you know, we were having conversations with him prior to the game. Look, he said today, all I want is to get the W. That's all that matters to me. But I would imagine, Coach, he is going to be the main player to get the ball in the hands. But even with some of the other key star players in this name of number 17, Mekawolu, his experience of playing at such a high continental level of European basketball, you would imagine that he is going to be a force inside the paints.
Well, there's a lot of players on this roster that can contribute. So, you know, Stan Okoye, obviously someone I quite familiar with, having coached him, but he's gone on to have a tremendous career at ACB, really knows how to play the international game. I think they're going to rely on him in key moments, but a lot of different contributors to this Nigerian team.
Well, going to Stan Okoye, think about him. If you go back to when FIBA began the window system, the 2019 FIBA Basketball World Cup, he was a regular for this national team. You've seen him over the years, and obviously you alluded to his experience within the Spanish ACB. I would probably imagine the way his career's panned out, he'll be more than just a veteran player.
Oh, no question. He's going to be a huge contributor, and you know, it'll be interesting to see how they incorporate guys that performed well throughout the qualifier. So in particular, Divine Eke, their leading scorer during the qualification rounds, just played with Milwaukee in the NBA Summer League, so I'm sure he's coming into this tournament with a lot of confidence.
Not to mention Caleb Agata, number 3, is going to give them a little bit of firepower. But, you know, if you were to kind of separate these two teams, and you know, having said that, we've only seen Madagascar within the FIBA AfroBasket qualifiers. Nigeria, is it going to be about tempo and pace, or are we going to see very much everything predicate from the defense?
Well, I think it's both. You know, they're going to want to pressure, force turnovers, allow that to get them into the open floor. But offensively, they're going to try to get up and down. You know, this is not going to be a half-court execution team.
And that is going to be the key test for Madagascar. As mentioned, a lot of these Madagascar players are playing internationally. Some have gone via the route of the NCAA. But it's the story, the legacy, the history that they're building by qualifying for the 2025 FIBA AfroBasket. Again, basketball fans, we do apologize. We do just have a slight delay in game at the moment. We thank your patience. So we are trying to get things back underway here in Luanda, Angola, the host country of the 31st edition of the FIBA AfroBasket. Well, Coach, we saw some exciting games yesterday because we saw Angola begin with a bang. Big part of that was indeed Gilson Bango and another one of your former teams. And you just got to wonder, with all the star teams we have here and the superstar players, who is going to make it to that final in this arena?
Well, it's going to be a really exciting tournament. I think there are a lot of teams who can stake a claim on having the potential to win it. You know, in particular, I think Guinea, with that huge win against South Sudan yesterday, really making a statement that they're here to compete. One of my former players, Mamadi Diakite, tremendous game for them yesterday with four three-pointers. But I think you got to add them to that list. So really 6 or 7 teams, I think, have a legit argument that they can be lifting the trophy.
And you made a very, very good point yesterday, which I think embodies how this 31st edition of the FIBA AfroBasket is going to pan out. This competition is so balanced. And Coach, I agree with you. 6-7 teams that really could compete to get into that Final Four, but you know, it's anybody's game at this point. Now, of course, basketball fans watching live, if you are a big fan of the FIBA AfroBasket and international basketball, please make sure you follow AfroBasket on all social media platforms of X, Instagram, and Facebook. Again, make sure so you can get all the best news, highlights, and content that really reflects what's going on here in Luanda and Namib, Angola. Well, two big games going on, of course, here later on. We did see that we are going to get to be able to watch the game between Cameroon and Tunisia. Well, Cote d'Ivoire will be in action later on in Namibia, and that is going to be a very exciting matchup. They'll be taking on Rwanda. That tips off at 4 p.m. local time. Well, also, Cape Verde will take on the Congo DR. And, of course, you got to tell you, Congo DR, they're making some noise. And, you know, some key players have turned up. Some key players aren't available, obviously. But there's another team as well that could really, you know, surprise a lot of people across the FIBA AfroBasket fan base.
Well, you know, I mean, all these teams have the potential for tremendous rosters. That's, you know, always the struggle sometimes is getting your full team here. So a lot of talk of Jonathan Kuminga joining that group. Obviously, that makes them a lot more dynamic. But the, you know, level of athleticism that they bring, even without him, definitely can be challenging for any opponent.
Well, when we compare the two teams that we have here so far in Luanda, Angola, as mentioned, this is only the 4th time in which Madagascar has qualified for the FIBA AfroBasket. The very first time was back in 1972, and then it was a very, very long time, over 30 years until they came back, and that was back in 2003. The final time Madagascar had featured in a FIBA AfroBasket was literally 14 years ago, so it's been a very, very long wait here. Again, it's great to see Madagascar back at the highest level of continental hoops here in Africa. And they will begin their game against a team that does have a lot of history in Nigeria. Nigeria, as mentioned, only won the gold medal, and that was with Coach Will Voigt, my co-commentator, back in 2015. Well, their first ever medal in the AfroBasket was back in 1995 when they won the bronze medal. They've won the bronze medal 3 times, having come runners-up on 4 occasions. One of those was when they were trying to defend their AfroBasket championship in 2017 against Tunisia. But this is a team that, while only one gold medal, they are one of the greatest in the history of the FIBA AfroBasket. Of course, that doesn't equate to our host Angola, 11-time champions. And Coach, it's almost like a dramatic irony. It's been 12 years since Angola have won the gold medal, and yet here we are 12 years later, knowing that they've won, they could win their 12th championship.
Yeah, I think they've really got to be excited about their chances playing at home, huge home court advantage, and they come in here with a very talented roster.
Well, looking at this game again, basketball fans watching live wherever you may be across the globe, we do apologize for the technical issue that we are facing. We are trying to get this resolved, and as soon as we get a further update, we will let you know what is happening. Currently, it will be Nigeria facing Madagascar here in the opening game of game day 2. Madagascar, very long wait, but of course, if you go back to the qualifiers in February when they defeated Egypt at home, that very exciting matchup, that is the game that sealed the deal for them and booked their tickets to Luanda, Angola. Remember, this is the 31st edition of the FIBA AfroBasket. And while Tunisia will be in here later this evening, they'll be looking to three-peat this competition. That's going to be tough, but I'll go back to Nigeria, Coach. Okogie is now on the floor just getting some shots up. And, you know, looking at his demeanor, of course, we know, you know, he's currently playing in the NBA, but he seems very calm compared to most of his other teammates.
You know, I think sometimes the experience of the NBA conditions you that way. So playing 82 regular season games, it's really about steadying yourself through the course of such a long schedule. I'm sure he's going to take that same approach here. So obviously there's some jitters and excitement with your first game of the tournament, but I think, you know, he's really got his eyes set on the knockout round and hopefully for them the championship game.
Well, the referee has come center court. He's asking the players to go to the benches. So I think now we're going to get set to introduce the players potentially. We haven't been given a formal update. We're just trying to keep our eyes. Both Coach Will Voigt and I are courtside. like I said, when we get further update, we will inform you of the current situation. Now, I'm not quite sure. The coaches have been asked to come to the center court to speak to the referees. I think now the players have been asked to be introduced. The Nigerian players now are going to be entering the floor just to be introduced. So, Coach, positive signs so far here, but you know, when you look at players like Josh Okagi and some of his teammates, Caleb Agada, and you did mention your former player, Santa Koye, also with the likes of power forward Emmanuel Amogo. Now, I think with Nigeria, what we've seen traditionally, especially within the qualifiers, you know, a team that likes to run, but this should be a team that should dominate second chance points and offensive rebounds.
Well, it'll be interesting to see. You know, this is a much smaller team than normal for Nigeria. I think they're going to be a little more guard and wing oriented, and how that translates to the interior, I think we'll have to see throughout the tournament.
This team coached by Abdurrahman Mohammed, as mentioned, Coach, a man that you have close ties with, having worked with him before. And no doubt he's going to be ready to get things underway and get his team eager for this opening victory here at the FIBA AfroBasket. Well, now we take a look at Madagascar. Now, we did already mention Matthias Madi and also Sitraka as their key players, but you know, look at the big man as well. Andrea Tsarafara, he is going to have to be somebody who dominates the paint tonight here for Madagascar.
Well, you know, certainly they've got their hands full with athleticism of Nigeria. They want to get this game going up and down, though. They're not going to be afraid of these wings for Nigeria at all. I think that they know what their style of play needs to be. And Matthias Madi is, you know, a one-man wrecking crew, so he's going to try to push tempo every time he has the ball, see if he can get all the way to the rim.
Well, there's the big fella, Sitraka, who did cause a lot of issues for Egypt. He's going to have a double-double today at least to make sure that this team has a good chance of winning. Well, there you have it. This team coached by Jean Douaglin, only just coming in to take over the realms, but now basketball fans, we're going to stand for the national anthems of these two beautiful countries of Madagascar and Nigeria. National anthems of both Madagascar and Nigeria, two beautiful countries, have indeed been sung, and now basketball fans, the players and coaches, will shake hands, pay each other respect as we're now moments away from tip-off. Well, now we're going to get set to introduce three very important people for tonight's game, and those three people are indeed our three referees. Well, I should say four, including our commissioner and technical delegate for tonight's game. Well, our three referees are coming from South Africa, coming from Cape Verde, and as well Algeria. So we have Roberto Fernandez Diaz. We also have Sofiane Youssef and Arnaud Lomé-Fazoué. Again, a big thank you to all of our referees who've done a magnificent job in all of our competitions, and they'll continue to do so tonight here for this big game, the opening game of game day 2 of the FIBA AfroBasket. Well, Coach, quite a lot of good players on this Nigeria team, and I just wonder, you know, it's always a big gamble, but for sure you got to think Josh Okogie is going to be in the starting lineup tonight.
Well, you know, it's interesting. I mean, it's a different group of guys that played the majority of their qualification games. How you blend those guys in with some of the talent that you've added for this tournament is always, I think, a tough decision for coaches.
Well, we'll take a look at Nigeria, the Tigers, as they are known, the national team. Starting five as stand. Josh Okogie will be with Caleb Talib Zana, and Ike Nwamo. Of course, Okubundo Iogi will also be in the starting lineup, so he is, you know, got a big opportunity to really showcase his talent. Stan Okoye will be coming off the bench along with Amogbo. So again, it's a deep bench, and as well as Christian Mekawolu. You think this is going to be a very high-paced team that likes to get out and run more so than a very, as we've seen with Senegal, a very physical team inside the paint?
Yeah, I really do. I think the pace of this game is going to be really fast. Both teams are going to want to run as much as possible.
Well, we're going to take a look at Madagascar very, very soon. But as said, Nigeria, respectfully, will be favorites coming into this game. But you know, that could be proven to be different as this game does progress. Because it's almost like the adrenaline for Madagascar. Maybe just haven't stopped dreaming since that big victory against Egypt within the qualifiers. One thing for Madagascar is they've got to come with a swag, and they've got to come with a tempo. But Sitraka, the big man there on the right, as mentioned, spent last season playing in the second division of pro basketball in France with Alain Bonnet. And like Matthias Matti, both players respectfully coming from Alain Chalon, one of the top academies within French basketball.
Yeah, a lot of influence there. Obviously, Madi, the most well-known of these players, but a lot of them getting valuable experience in the French leagues.
Well, the continuity, the brotherhood of this team, making that big step in window number 3. And of course, Coach Jean Douaglan just coming in with what many would probably add just the experience to kind of get this team to compete. And who knows how far this team can go. Well, again, fans, we'd like to thank everybody for their patience. We do apologize for the delay in tip that we had earlier, but welcome everyone to Luanda, Angola. This is the 2025 FIBA AfroBasket. Nigeria will go up against a team who's made their return after 14 years, Madagascar. Well, our players just being politely reminded, Coach, to tuck their shirts in. And while we're getting first possession, is now the Tigers trying to orchestrate something very quickly. The high screen coming here. Agata now finding a bit of an opening all the way to the basket. No help side defense, Coach. Well, quite a surprise there for Madagascar.
Yeah, really no awareness there. Not sure where the breakdown was, but pretty simple pick and roll coverage that got blown there.
Matthias Matti with a pump fake. This is what he likes to do. 3 is up. Gets his own rebound. Finds Sitraka. Well, big man can't make these threes. He did it against Egypt, and he gets the early one. The first 3 points of Madagascar of the AfroBasket.
Yeah, great start there from Sitraka. He's able to pull the bigs of Nigeria out with his shooting. That's going to be a real difference maker.
That's exactly what he did in that big win against Egypt. Well, nice take going around the screen under intense pressure by Caleb Agata.
Yeah, Caleb Agata picking up where he left off in qualifications. Really dynamic score for them. 19 points per game during the qualifying rounds.
Sitraka going for post-up. Now got it by Okogie. Well, they had the 3-pointer. Now going for 15. Again, Madagascar showing no fear whatsoever here against the 2015 champions.
Yeah, I mean, great start for them, showing a lot of confidence in the offensive end.
That was Andrea Tafara, the man who made the shot from 15 feet. And he's probably, this is what I have an interesting question. If you can compare Andrea Tafara, number 11, and Sitraka, 22. Is it fair to say Andrea Tafara is their natural 5 in this lineup, Coach?
No, he definitely is. So Sitraka is going to play the 4, see if he can stretch some of these bigs out there. He's able to shoot like he did on that first one. Brings a really big dynamic to their offense.
This communication, that pass was indeed intended for Razana Hanina. Matias Madi just making just a poor pass at that time, but now Nigeria. Okogie looking to capitalize. Ghana penetrates in the lane. Coming up with his own rebound. Nigeria going from the perimeter. 3 is up, no good. Nelly comes up with it, finds Sitraka, big man. Goes in, avoids the block, and already 5 early points for him, giving Madagascar the lead.
Well, you can see there, that's the pace that they want. Great outlet pass and the quick basket.
Madagascar switching every dribble handoff. Ghana trying to find separation. Made his last one. Matias Madi wants to push the tempo here for Madagascar. 4th FIBA AfroBasket for them. Madi mid-range pulls up. Just hasn't quite found that rhythm.
Yeah, and that's where Madi's going to have to develop as a player. Really dynamic athlete, great at attacking the rim, but has struggled with his perimeter shooting so far in his career.
Well, Okogie now looking for a hesitation. Finds Kalo Agate. He'll attempt his 3rd three. Still no good. This is where Nigeria have that advantage against Madagascar. Offensive rebounding. Nice take down the middle, goes in, finishes, avoiding the block.
Well, another pick and roll breakdown there from Madagascar. So they've struggled to sort that out. The bigs not being in position to stop the ball handler twice now.
Do you also find with Nigeria, they're finding it a little bit too easy to get into Madagascar's paint?
Well, it's that pick and roll play. So, I think, not sure what their initial coverage is supposed to be. Looks like they want their bigs in the drop, but those bigs need to make sure they stay square to the ball handler, not just give them a direct path to the rim.
Mismatch the paint, spins baseline, goes in. Yo, Coach, we saw this a few times yesterday. In that kind of mismatch, what do? Do you double right away, or do you just leave your defender at bay?
Well, you could see Kiati spinning to force his player baseline, expecting to have help rotating there. In that case, Sitraka forgot to come.
Madi going for an isolation. Just using the bank. Sitraka level at 9 apiece. Another penetration, another kick out, another missed 3-point attempt, and yet again another offensive rebound. Ghana goes baseline. This is a good ball move. Okogie, left uncontested, led by the 3. Well, Coach, no arguments with the setup here from Nigeria. They're getting good looks.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to want to shoot threes. It'd be interesting to see it. Not necessarily a ton of natural shooters on this roster, but their style of play clearly hasn't changed. So they want to be up tempo. They want to get threes up as much as possible, similar to how Madagascar wants to play.
There's a play by Matias Madi. What do you call that set there? You come off a double high to get it at the free throw line extended. I mean, that's just the idea of losing the defender so you can go for that isolation.
Well, they call that an Iverson cut. So, Allen Iverson making that famous in his Philly days. But it's a great way to distort the weak side help. So it's moving where that low man would be positioned. You're seeing it more and more throughout international basketball.
Well, that's a nice look there from Andrea Tafara to mid-range. Magana goes in. Well, the help side defense coach might want to look at the lost and found at the moment.
I think you're right. This is 4 times now that Nigeria's been able to get all the way to the rim without any interference from the bigs. So need a better awareness from the 4 and the 5 man there. Have some kind of contested rim.
Well, one thing we're going to see is a lot. Here we go. Oh, my goodness. Nigeria Tafara had to intervene because that was going to be the Tigers Lob City here in Luanda.
Well, that is what Akobundo can do. An unbelievable athlete. There was a video that I think went viral from their training camp of him throwing down dunks at practice. This guy can get up with the best of them.
Well, maybe a foul called against Andrea Tavara, but Coach, you got to appreciate the effort to get back in the paint and just to prevent the easy 2 points in transition.
Well, absolutely, and that that's the resistance that was missing on these previous plays at the rim. So they're going to have to be willing to contest, put their bodies on the line with these great athletes from Nigeria.
Only made one free throw. Well, maybe not a bad foul after all. There's halfway to go here. Nigeria just making some changes at the moment. So Nwamu going to the bench. There's Mike Muja coming into the game for the first time here for the Tigers. He's got a lot of promise to him, Coach. The thing I like about him is his relentless nature to play very tough in the paint.
Yeah, no question. Really solid season with Varese this past year. Tremendous athlete. I'm sure we're going to see some highlights from him in this tournament.
Madagascar trying to go to pick and roll offense. Dritza Fire looking for a post up. Bumping this off play. He's maybe going for an offensive rebound. They have slightly gone smaller, Madagascar. Good post defense. And now Madagascar have numbers. Well, surely that's got to be. Yep, that's going to be 2 free throws. And Madagascar will retain possession.
Yeah, that one I think is an obvious one. Little too aggressive there and trying to stop the fast break. You can see him reach out and grab the arm. It's a good call from the official.
So indeed will be Livio Razzianarivo at the free throw line. Not also know that he's also quite a prominent FIBA 3x3 player, apparently. That's always an interesting transition when pro players go from FIBA basketball to 3x3 basketball.
It's interesting. We have a former player of ours at BYU, Trevin Nell, who's representing the United States in 3-on-3. So I've been watching it a lot more over the summertime, and it's a really exciting brand of basketball. It's continuous play, a lot of scoring. It's a great addition to the international game.
And the ball is slightly one size smaller, but the same weight, though, apparently.
Yeah, that itself, right? Definitely something to adjust and get used to.
Well, Matsu turns it over. Nigeria looking to reclaim the lead. And the post mismatch. Tries to go baseline. And that's going to be second foul. I think that's going to be number 2 on him.
Well, you can see the strategy of Madagascar. They're immediately trying to force those post touches baseline. They want the opposite big to rotate over and double team.
Well, one thing Madagascar cannot afford is for that man to get into foul trouble. He's going to come out of the game, so they are now going to be without him and Citraka.
They're going really small here. We'll see how they handle these bigs. Nigeria also small at the moment.
Alpha Solandrini subbing into the game. This will be a very interesting passage to play. Here's where Nigeria could take advantage, but failing to score. The rebound has been secured. Olivio just finding a bit of time. Just cannot finish. Stanakoya, your former player coach, now into the lineup.
Yeah, let's see if he can bring some steadiness to this group. A lot of experience in ACB.
Well, Christian Mekawola went for the pick and pop. Another offensive rebound. Agana goes to the mid-range. Nothing going in. That's going to be a foul. It's going to be called against Anthony Rasolomanana.
You can see the size of Mekawulo already giving some problems to this smaller Madagascar team. So can they come up with rebounds when their bigs are off the floor? We'll have to see here.
Another good look at the impact. Nothing going in. Chance point. Still can't go. Body comes up with it. Now wants to run. Bit of contact. Gets it stripped. Well, the Tigers' transition defense simply unstoppable. But can they capitalize? And finally, Coach, I think we had a minute without a single bucket.
It's a great strip there from Nagata to save the layup in transition.
Turnover after turnover, and now the Tigers have numbers. Here we go. Oh, Eurostep slices the defense. And it's a 2-possession ball game to the Tigers And a timeout is going to be called by Madagascar. Coach, Citraka went to the bench, and so did the big man who picked up 2 fouls. And you got to think the game changed at that point there for Madagascar.
Yeah, it really did. I mean, obviously the turnovers hurt, but you could also see difficult for them to control the interior with the bigs off the floor.
I mean, they cannot afford for Citraka and Andrea Safara to be on them because they are so imperative for them in that front court.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to play some big minutes. You know, obviously foul trouble with Lavoswa, getting him off the court, but I would expect to see Citraka coming back in shortly.
Je vous ai dit au niveau du rebond, pensez à bien contrôler les mecs, reculer les gars, d'accord? Et tout le monde est concerné par le rebond. Tout le monde est concerné par le rebond, d'accord? Dès qu'on joue vite, on peut les mettre en difficulté. On n'a pas les solutions, on repose le jeu ensemble avec les situations d'écran. Et s'ils changent, on met les ballons dessous, ok? On prend le temps de jouer ensemble si on n'a pas les solutions, ok? Mathia, tu restes un peu.
Well, Caleb Agata, here's some highlights of him getting inside the paint, and there was the zero help side defense. Just that simple curl in the bull screen. But at that point there, I mean, you think somebody's got to step out, but if you do step out, you just leave your man wide open. This is a tough shot, coach, by Agata.
Yeah, tough shot there. You know, on the first one, I think the bigs caught on the opposite side of the screen, some kind of miscommunication. Maybe they're trying to force it down on the sideline. The big was positioned that way. He's able to get middle. Nobody there to help.
Well, tough play here at the moment. Now going baseline. Tough kick out. 5 here on the shot clock for Madagascar. Final seconds. He's got to force up a circus shot. Oh, and they get an offensive rebound. Well, coach, can we put that shot down to an assist maybe?
Well, I mean, unbelievable that he could even hit the rim in that moment. So credit to Rija there. Great play.
The Tigers leading by 2. There's a baseline. Kick out. Wide open, uncontested. But it's another offensive rebound. Nigeria turn it over. Well, a chance to level things up. Now we're on to 2 minutes here, live in Luanda, Angola. High bull screen coming, denies it. Pulls up from 15, nice take on target. So, coach, I like that action. At least you get a good look off the dribble.
Yeah, you know, it's a really common NBA action that they just use there. Flashing the guy from the elbow, creating some space for the point guard into pick and roll.
Well, Big Alpha with the block. Now Madagascar. Again, another chance to level things up. Well, Madagascar currently 1 for 3 from the perimeter. 7 here on the shot clock. Got to make something happen. Big Alpha sets a bull screen. Pump fakes. Pulls up from 15. Another good look for Madagascar, but things not dropping here at the moment. Nigeria. Going to play at a very high tempo. But have had their inconsistency. They've got to find something here. Finds a big man in the paint. It's simply that. Coach, why not go in the paint?
Well, right now they have an interior advantage. You know, good job of Nuga finding that duck in.
Potential 2 for 1 here for Madagascar. Everything running through a pick and roll here at the moment. Nice flash in the paint. Has to go for a tough one. But again, just nothing dropping.
Yeah, it's a great pass from Rija. I think Anthony Nelson caught a little off guard, not ready to finish.
Roughly 4 seconds difference between game and shot clock. The Tigers can't have the final play. Patiently winding down the clock. Here comes the bull screen. Nice take by Nuga now. Kicks us out. Off the dribble. 3 is up. Way too short. And now, Madagascar's got a second. They'll go the length of the floor. Oh, had the right length, but not quite near enough. Well, that is the end of the first quarter live here in Luanda, Angola for the 2025 FIBA AfroBasket. Indeed, Nigeria with a 2-possession lead over Madagascar. Well, Coach, you think right now Nigeria potentially could be winning this game by double digits, but things just having, I mean, it's not a case of them not getting good looks. They're getting good looks, but maybe they're just not going to the right options.
Yeah, you know, you saw them go to the interior. We'll have to listen to Coach here, see if there's some adjustments he's going to make.
Well, fans, we'll take a look at the top highlights here from the first quarter. And it all began with Caleb Agad. And right from that first play, Coach, you start to ask the big questions about Madagascar's defense.
Well, you know, they got them on an open-sided pick and roll. Seemed like there was some uncertainty about what their coverage was going to be in that moment. So a couple of easy layups from there. They're going to have to clean up their pick and roll defense. And you heard their coach actually talking about the interior, how they're going to control that as they move forward.
Well, Caleb Agad leading so far with 7 points. That's the defensive presence of Madagascar's post interior. But, I mean, it's a strange one to think. You play good basketball, you get good looks, but you're just not able to knock them down. But it's becoming a continuous issue. So at what point does Nigeria realize, well, basketball fans, make sure you use that QR code and download Courtside 1891. Courtside 1891, the home of international basketball, where you can also watch the warm-up games for the 2025 FIBA AfroBasket. Courtside 1891, download it today. But we alluded to this in the pregame, of course. Nigeria don't necessarily have the size that we may have seen them have in previous AfroBaskets.
Well, that's true, but compared to this Madagascar roster, they definitely have some interior guys that can cause issues. We saw that, Satraka came out of the game. It became hard. So you see both bigs starting the second quarter. I think they're going to have to play big minutes for Madagascar here in this game.
Well, Madagascar getting the first 2 points of the second quarter. What an aggressive drive to the bucket by Rassilon Jantavo. There's still a bay here between these two teams. Nigeria now going into paint. Another block. Well, that could have been foul number 3. Nigeria diving on the ground, coming up with a possession, fighting for every possession. Well, nice take, finds Okoye, and he's going to put them back up by 4. And Coach, Madagascar, great defense, but they've got to take care of the basketball.
Well, great look there from Nuga. Seeing Stan Okoye on the cut, really great vision from him there. But you said it, Madagascar's got to be stronger with the ball.
See Traki coming up with the bull screen. Kind of hesitate. This is good defense. Now going up against Okoye. That's going to be a 24-second violation. And Coach, we know Stan Okoye is a great post-interior defense, but if he's going to have to defend Citraka, you got to get the ball to him a little bit early in the paint.
Yeah, no, I agree. And there are going to be times where Nigeria's going to have to go smaller. Stan's got tremendous wingspan, so he uses that as well as anybody with his post defense.
Mekawolu looking for a handoff. Okoye wants to post up. Simon Gold baseline. This is good ball movement by the Tigers, but not quite there. Well, here's where Madagascar could probably benefit from getting something quick on the counterattack. Almost 2 minutes played here in the second quarter. Now we're under 10 on the shot clock. Citraka's made 1 3. Penetrates, little floating. He makes it look fun. Just that left-handed touch he's got.
Well, you got to understand the scouting report there. Yes, you got to be ready for the perimeter shot, but definitely cannot let him drive to his strong left hand.
9 points for him. Goes in the lane. Wow. Could have been foul number 3. Well, now Madagascar can take the lead. 3 number 2. Well, there's that transition. And Coach, 3s in transition. Many coaches won't like it, but they sometimes can be high percentage looks.
Well, this is how Madagascar wants to play. Great verticality at the rim from Lovasoa, and that led to the fast break.
Well, that's a problem here for Madagascar now, because if that is on Lovasoa, that's going to be foul number 3. I think it is. Oh, no. Well, is that indeed on Livio Ratianarivo?
2 shots.
Well, that is it. To find this one, I'm not quite sure. It's a three-pointer that gave Madagascar the. Well, leveling things up. Nigeria now, chance here to try and level things up yet again. Second free throw just rattling in. Assuming that last foul indeed was called on Livio Ratinarivo, because they haven't made a change. Because I know if you were coaching and one of your key players picked up three with only 7:21 in the second quarter, they'd be on the bench.
Yeah, you know, I think they might have given it to Livio there, rotating over. It was funny. He had a guilty look on his face, Lovasoa did. So
yeah.
I'm not sure. You know, right now we don't have the stats up on our monitor, so it's hard for us to know who got credited with that foul.
Well, Madagascar right now competing here against one of the greatest teams in the history of the AfroBasket. Another bump in the lane, can't finish. And now the Tigers have numbers. Nwabo. Kogi also back in the lineup. He's had a little bit of a quiet start so far, but finds Okoye in the corner. Three is up, three is good. And coach, how many times have you seen him do that?
Well, you know, he's had a tremendous career in Spain. Really carved a great niche for him there. And he's a guy that can fill a lot of different roles on your team. So great length, great athleticism, really more of a spark plug young player for us in 2015. Now more of a crafty vet who can knock down an open shot.
Turnover here for Madagascar, and I like that. You know, some players, when they do get to those veteran years, they almost rely on the shooting, of course. You know, whether it be mid-range, maybe less off the dribble, but in the case of Okoye, you know, when you kind of let a star player take over like Kogi, you're right, you can just sit in the corner and just have your day, almost like a Bruce Bowen aspect.
Yeah, you know, I mean, credit to Kogi, drawing the corner help, seeing the kick out, simple basketball.
Nigeria leading by 2. Lava looking for hesitation, kicks out, finds a Kogi. Kogi penetrates. Another kick out, deja vu moment. That time Okoye unable to score, but now a 2-on-1 here. Trying to go in reverse. Oh my goodness! Sitraka now with 11.
And again, a great outlet pass there from Lovasoa. That started the fast break, and this is how they want to play.
Madi comes up with another steal. Behind the back, probably got a little too casual. Coach, should he have taken that one himself?
You know, I thought he was going to. It looked like he had a lane, but, you know, anytime you see a Nigerian big back there lurking, I think it makes you think twice.
Well, look at the putback done by Sitraka. Alain Chalon, the academy. Well, a timeout is going to be called. I think Nigeria wants to talk this one over, so we'll head down to their bench to hear what the message is.
Okay, hey guys, we talk about transition defense, right? These guys are always going to run on a make or a miss. Now, when we turn over the ball, you know, they're still going to run anyway. So right now, from now on, we want to have 2 people going back. We don't want to have 3 people rebounding. I want to have 3 people rebounding and 2 people going back. Okay? Pick up the ball, slow them down. Look, when we force them to stay half court, we look good. But if you let them keep running, you know, they make easy basket. Okay? Hey, bring it back in. Josh, come back in.
Let's go.
Defense on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Defense.
Thank you.
Well, Sitraka so far leading the way. I mean, this is the man from the Academy of France, Alain Chalon. Of course, is still playing in France. And, you know, at one point, maybe we're going to see him at the big stage. But right now, he's doing it for his country. And, Coach, left-handed players, they're always so complicated to defend.
Yeah, they really are. You know, we saw it with Gindi from Egypt yesterday. Great job here from Sitraka early on. A mix of outside and inside finishes.
Still 23 apiece. Well, Madi at the moment, now here in the backcourt, looking to give Madagascar the lead. Remember, both players coming from the same academy in France. Great to see the youngsters of Alain Chalon competing internationally. Madi from 15, a little too short, but an offensive rebound. Goes baseline, kicks out to Madi yet again. Another kick out, this time three is up, three is good. And Madagascar giving themselves a cushion.
Yeah, great kick out there from Madi, finding Kiadi in the corner. And that drive and kick game, that's how Madagascar wants to play.
Well, Madagascar looking to run this one. Madi again, well, misses last three, no problem. And now it's raining threes here for Madagascar.
Yeah, and you don't want to see him get hot if you're Nigeria. Really streaky shooter. When he makes shots from the perimeter, he can have huge scoring games.
Okogie goes baseline. The Tigers have got to get something. Nwamo, he'll try to respond. And they needed that one, Coach. They really needed that three-pointer.
Yeah, good ball movement from Nigeria, being patient. Madagascar's done a nice job with their perimeter rotations, taking away those threes, but that time a little slow to get to Nwamo.
Well, the game really kicking into flavor at the moment. Splits the defenders on the ball screen. And now just exchanging buckets between Madagascar and Nigeria.
Well, Kiadi's starting to feel good out here. Had the corner three. Now a really great split there in the pick and roll.
Oh, Okogie goes baseline. Another kick out. Nigeria going for another three. That one's not going to go. But as always, fighting for second chances. Well, keeps this one alive, prevents a turnover. Final seconds. Agata. He's got to find the separation. And beats the shot clock. And Coach, if you're Madagascar, that's got to infuriate you.
Yeah, I think, a little breakdown there at the end. You want to say Agata stay on the perimeter, have to beat you with a jump shot rather than penetration.
Well, Livio now looking to push this one. Madi's only got a little bit of time. Madi now. Oh, smart play. You know what I find interesting, Coach, is he's made one three-pointer, but as you alluded as well, that he is not the most consistent three-point shooter. So if he goes to that step back, why not just let him take it? Because that's a poor foul to give away.
Yeah, it really is. And, you see the great kick out there earlier. He's a dynamic driver. And, even with the 1-3 hit, I think you got to see him make a few of those before you start pressing up on him. He's so good at getting to the rim.
Because he has that kind of Chris Paul game about him where he has the ball in his hands. Not necessarily in his shooting ability, but just how he's able to run circles around the defense. And it's almost like even if you're not defending him, your focus is on him if you're 1-2 passes away.
Yeah, I mean, he's a star in the making for sure. A big-time player at the under-19s. If you average 24 points per game in a global competition, clearly you've got a lot of ability. So he's a rising star at this tournament.
Okogie splits the defense. Sitraka trying to block him, but not good enough. Okogie's got to come ready to play if they're going to win this game, Coach.
Well, nice split there. It's interesting. He's going to be manning the point guard position for this Tigers team, something he's not accustomed to doing at the NBA level.
Well, Noama's made 1-3 in the corner, takes another one. Beautiful basketball. And the Tigers right now not going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, great response there.
Still a three-point lead in Madagascar. Well, excuse me, all things leveled up at the moment. Kiadi waiting for that screen from Sitraka. Well, Sitraka may have got away with a moving screen. And he beats the shot clock. Now he's got 13.
Oh, great job there. Right place, right time. Cleaning up the miss.
Well, Okogie attacks. Goes in. Sitraka can't get the... Oh, no. That's going to... Oh, I thought he bounced it up. Okay, so that's going to remain Nigeria ball. So great work by Zana. Here's a three-pointer by Nwamu. And this is incredible by Sitraka, just avoiding the 24 clock.
Hey, switch. Switch, corner. Zana, corner. Fuck, it don't matter. Hey, right here.
So Nigeria just getting set into an inbound play. Spacing right now could be crucial. Down by 2. Ogata wants a lob. Kiati trying to stand strong. But Ogata goes in. Whoa. Coach, I don't think I've ever seen that in international basketball.
Well, not a smart play from Solondreni. I mean, clearly on its way down, did not look like it had a chance of going in. He's got to be smarter there in that moment.
Well, let's have a look here. I'm just wondering if he thought this was going to be an air ball. No, that... Well, interesting. See, Chaka's got 13. That time Nigeria defending well. The Tigers come up with it. Just over a minute to go here. Well, he's got Zana. And Kogi just put a little bit too much on that. Right idea, but the pass could have been better.
Yeah, not quite on the mark there. Nice job from Madi getting back in the paint, making Kogi at least think about how he wanted to deliver that pass. I think in that moment, he's got to get closer to the rim.
Nothing separates Madagascar and Nigeria. Game day 2 of the 2025 FIBA AfroBasket. See Chaka leading all scorers currently with 13. Kiati penetrates. Kiati avoids a block. Almost got it. Offensive rebound. And coach, the area I said Nigeria should dominate, it looks like Madagascar are now battling with them.
Well, a lot of timely offensive rebounds. So, you know, late shot clock, almost prayers thrown up at the rim, and their bigs have been able to track those down.
Well, let's go down to Madagascar's bench to hear what they have to say.
Just box him out.
All right, sit down. You sitting down, right?
Get a seat. Get a seat.
Go for the block. Okay. All right, listen up. We're going to Zana. Guys, listen up. We're going to Zana. Zana, right? If you have a small on you, right? This is Zana. If you have a small on you, just walk him in. If you're here, you have a small on you, just walk him in, right? And seal, right? Josh. Josh, you in, right? Josh, Caleb, right? Ike, right? They're in this scrum. KO, play dunker. Yeah. Play dunker, KO, right? Punch it in, right?
We need this action here.
Sprint,
We need this action here.
Coach, let's go. Nigeria 3, 1, 2, 3.
Nigeria.
KO. Yeah. Play dunker, but let's go, guys.
Well, 47 seconds left, coach. You got to think Nigeria 2 for 1.
Yeah, I mean, definitely that's got to be their thinking here. If they manage the clock correctly, come up with 2 possessions here at the end of the half.
This is one of the mistakes you wouldn't expect Nigeria to give away, but you know, credit to this Madagascar team. It's almost like at moments, and also not moments, they're playing with IQ, and sometimes they're not playing with IQ.
Well, you know, if you're going to rotate to block the shot, you got to be sure that you can get there, especially when it's through the elbow. Hard for the weak side to rotate and block out.
Offensive foul. Wow, this is tough, coach. That looked like a 50-50 to me, but they're going to call this one against Nigeria. Let's have a look here. Well, you can't see in the camera, but I thought that was, well, maybe it's the hook. I don't know.
I think he's got him with the hook there, so looks like a good call from the official.
Kiati's made 1 3. Can't get this one. And now the Tigers can't go for the final shot. 9/10 difference between game and shot clock. Madagascar leading by 1. Agata. Patiently got it by Madi. Well, Agata attacks. Bit of separation. In the paint. And it's that man, the big fella. The Tigers going into the halftime break with the 1-point cushion. And Okubundu, there was a shot by Agata, and he throws it down.
Yeah, great follow there. A little surprised Madagascar didn't take a foul. They had some fouls to give at the end of that quarter, so I was expecting to see that, but still great finish.
Well, that is halftime. Nigeria, the champions of 2015 of the FIBA AfroBasket, leading by 1 against Madagascar. It's been back and forth between these two teams, but hey, Coach, so far, good game to watch.
Yeah, it's been a great game. Kind of exactly what I expected. Up and down, a lot of perimeter shooting. I think it's going to be a high-scoring affair.
Well, momentarily, we will take a look at the statistics here from the first half, but yeah, I think Madagascar, it's the return to the FIBA AfroBasket, as we mentioned. But let's talk about the stats. Caleb Agata leading Nigeria with 13 points. Nigeria, 19 rebounds, 8 offensive boards. When we compare that to Madagascar, Sitraka, their leading scorer, but they have 23 rebounds. Right now, they're showing no fear, Coach.
No, they really aren't. Playing with a ton of confidence, attacking the rim well, as you see there. Really playing their style of basketball. Not backing down from this Nigerian national team.
Well, Sanakoya has had some good moments in the game. You can see the pick and roll scenario, but Madagascar, they play their tempo, getting threes in transition. This time coming from Livio. Well, as mentioned, they are currently 40% from the perimeter, nailing 4 out of 10. One of those has come from Sitraka, as well as Matias Amadi. Josh Okogie, that time kicking out to your former player, Stan Okoye, and maybe we need a little bit more from Stan the man.
Yeah, honestly, I'm surprised he hasn't played more for them. Came in, knocked down that big corner 3, had the nice basket cut earlier. He brings experience to this group. Obviously, he's won an AfroBasket championship. He knows what it takes at this level. He's been playing at a really high level in ACB.
Well, Sitraka that time becoming Mr. Reliable, but here was Agata. And at that point, put back. Well, they may have had their last donut, but Coach, nobody called box out for Madagascar.
Well, that's a frustrating way to end the half. Again, I thought they would take some fouls there, try to bleed the clock out, but Akobundu with an excellent finish, and that is what he does. He is a high flyer. You got to get a body on him.
Well, basketball fans, it's halftime. We'll take a short break, and we'll be back in under 13 minutes.
Education, health, justice. We sometimes take these simple things for granted. They're not common for all of us. We are all born on the same planet, but not with the same opportunities.
Whatever our gender, color, belief, or capability, we are one. We are all on the same team. Let's convince those who never thought they would do it that they can. We can. Together, we are stronger. No matter your origin, basketball can bring everyone together. Basketball for good.
Hanging on the rim and keeping the hopes alive. Who's going to take the shot? It's going to go to Cougar. He's got the ball. Hayes, you got to box him out. Here goes Jimmy Jamrod by with a turnaround. And Jimmy Jamrod by experience, and he has been doing it all day long, folks. From.
Holy cow, what a pass and what a finish.
Gonzalez takes it away. Oh, and he dunked it. And he looks at him.
Wow. He knew he was there, Jeff. Just waited for him and then crushed it through the hoop. Big time slam.
Like today, the opening day of the AfroBasket, the ball inbounded. Almeida put it on the line. Unbelievable. He inbounded the ball off the back of one of African basketball's greats, Carlos Moraes. Mamadou Faye into Ibrahima Faye, goes up for the dunk. He doesn't make it. Quickly to Fofana. Go! Unbelievable! What a turnaround for the Elephants.
Incredible explosion of offense and defense from Les Elephants.
Conde behind the back pass to Conde, and the foul. Goodness me. Put it on the highlight reel.
Yeah, beautiful behind the back. That's where they want it, sideline.
Turned it over, not what you want out of a timeout. Oh! You pass the junior Madut. Look at this play, the pass and the flush to Madut. Now Dwayne Dean goes behind his back, entry pass again.
Holy cow. Incredible play by Ding. And the finish by Kuth. He's becoming a problem for Uganda.
Oh, goodness me!
Oh my God!
Where did that come from? The elevation. Let's see if that ignites Kenya. This is the dunk of the tournament. Oh my goodness. That is unbelievable.
These guys will be legends in their own country, but also in the international basketball world forever.
Welcome back, basketball fans. We're live here in Luanda, Angola for the 2025 FIBA AfroBasket, where currently it's a 1-point lead to Nigeria against Madagascar. Well, Josh Bett alongside former head coach of Nigeria who won the 2015 FIBA AfroBasket, Will Voigt. And coach, well, I would have expected Nigeria at this stage to be in control of this game, but Madagascar, they have been quite organized.
Well, you know, they're playing with a ton of confidence, really not backing down from Nigeria in any way. You know that they want to get up and down. They've done a really nice job of finding deep outlet passes, getting to the rim. It looks like this is going to go right down to the wire today.
Well, the interesting stat for me that really stands out has been the rebounding. I mean, coming to this game, knowing how Nigeria were in the qualifiers of the FIBA AfroBasket, they were a team that were always hungry to take care of the boards. But, you know, Madagascar, they've been terrific in terms of, I mean, they've given away offensive boards, but they've had a fair share of their few as well.
Yeah, I mean, there was that little stretch when they had both bigs off the floor, both Lovasoa and Satrika off the court, that Nigeria, I think, was able to capitalize on the interior. But outside of that, really done a nice job controlling the physicality of Nigeria.
Well, both teams have converted 4 3-point field goals. It is indeed Caleb Agata who is leading the way at the moment here for Nigeria. While in for Madagascar, it's the big man, Citraka. You know, you've mentioned about him being such a versatile play. You know, he can take you on the dribble, he can post you up, but also he has such good length. He's able to go in for second chance points, or as we saw in the first half, tip-ins to beat the shot clock.
Well, really efficient first half, 5 for 7 from the floor. Hit that open corner 3 as well. You know, he's a matchup problem at that size. If he's able to step out and consistently knock down that 3, he's going to be a tough matchup.
While Madagascar getting some good play from Matthias Amadi, both players, him and Citraka, coming from the Alain Chalon Academy in France, and great to see so many players with such international experience. But Amadi's an interesting one because, you know, he was playing in France, then he went to play JUCO in the United States, and now, of course, he's in Spain in his first year professionally, playing with CB Moron. You kind of feel like he is a star in the making. You talked about his international youth level elite play. This is a great platform for him to really showcase his potential.
Oh, no question. I mean, 24 points per game at the Under-19 World Cup in 2023. You know, I had the pleasure of coaching him at Basketball Without Borders camp in Cairo, Egypt, when he was just 16 years old. You can see the star potential in him. So that perimeter jump shot still a work in progress, but when he can consistently knock that down, he's going to be able to play at a really high level.
And what's interesting, you know, you talk about the area development, the ability to consistently shoot the ball. He has no problem, whenever he has it in his hands, finding separation and creating his own shot.
Yeah, really dynamic with the ball in his hands for sure.
Well, now just moments away from tip-off. Well, remember the other game going on today, Cameroon will take on Tunisia. That is going to be live here in Luanda. The other games will be taking place in Namibia. Now, we did see Angola last night. The host nation, one game they'll play in the group will be in this arena, but given if they make it to the quarterfinals and then the finals, they'll be back here, of course. But some exciting teams here in the FIBA AfroBasket.
Yeah, no question. Great game last night. Lots of great games ahead of us.
Well, now we are moments away from tip-off, just under 2 minutes. And, of course, Nigeria getting that final play in which Caleb Agata did try to go for the mid-range, but the beautiful follow-up by Okobundu. And that's where I still feel Nigeria has the advantage. They've got to be continuously going after second chance points. But, you know, if anything, Coach, they're getting good looks, but they've got to be able to consistently knock them down from the field.
Well, you know, I think Lovasoa and Sadrika have done an excellent job controlling the paint. As long as they can stay out of foul trouble, I think they're going to have to play big minutes here in this game. But when they're on the court, they've really neutralized the size and athleticism of Nigeria.
Come back around and get him. So it's a 3. We don't have it, flip it right away, right? They're going to relax. Once your man plays dead, boom, you're getting a 3, right? Coach said it, if we don't have anything, guys, just get organized, right? The little point guard is the one who's crawling up on your shit. I've seen it. Like, he's trying to get a steal from you, not let you guys run and play. Like, you guys can go by him. If he's going to do that, like, move everybody to the right space and go by him. Help comes, then kick it.
And we're going to run a lot of flat this quarter, all right?
Yeah,
so
it's about us right now.
Think about it.
Yep, it's about us right now.
Let's go, y'all. Let's go, y'all.
Ready? Take 2. Let's go. Niger on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Niger. Let's go, Green.
Remember.
Let's go.
Well, fans, you just saw the QR code for Courtside 1891. Scan the QR code to get the Courtside 1891 app, where you can watch live streams and extended highlights of FIBA competitions and friendly games ahead of the 2025 FIBA AfroBasket. Well, Coach, very interesting words, of course, from the head coach of Nigeria. But I think there's actually a living legend, one of the greatest players in the history of Nigeria, currently watching this game right now.
Yeah, you know, Ike Diagu, the captain of our 2016 Olympic team. Just want to send my prayers and thoughts for him. His father passing recently. Ike, a tremendous player in person. And Ike, we love you and support you during this tough time.
Well, like Diagu, again, our thoughts and prayers are with you and your family. As mentioned, one of the greatest in the history of Nigerian basketball, as well as the FIBA AfroBasket. Glad to know you are currently watching this game with Nigeria. Will now have 2 free throws to begin the third quarter. That's quite a good set for Nigeria. That time, finding Okubundu inside the paint. And you kind of feel a player like him just needs to have a little bit more confidence, get a few more touches inside the key.
Yeah, well, a couple of dynamic plays in that first half. You know, figuring out a way for him to get to the rim more. You know, maybe some pick and roll with him rolling quickly to the rim. See if they can get some lob actions for him.
Amadi going quick screen. Spanish pick and roll sequence. Kiadi flashed out, but Nigeria defending that one very well. Sideline possession coming up to Madagascar. It looks like Madagascar is getting ready for a change. So, interesting. They're going to take Lovaso out of the game.
Yeah, early sub there. I'm not sure if there's a blown coverage. Don't see a coach over there talking to him, but coming out just 30 seconds into the half.
Amadi finding some separation. Now a little teardrop. Doesn't get that one to go well. Nigeria come leading by 2 points. Okogie kicks out. That's a penetration down the lane. No help side defense. That has been a problem all game, Coach, for Madagascar.
Yeah, it really has. And, you know, really, when Lovasoa comes out of the game, especially, it's a glaring weakness for Madagascar. So it will be interesting to see how long he stays on that bench.
Well, Kiadi kicks out. Ellie in the corner. 3 is up. Remember, both teams have only converted 4 3-point field goals. Kobe may have just taken one too many steps, but it does culminate into a turnover. Madagascar still looking for that first field goal here in the second half. Amadi's mid-range. There's the areas of development we talked about. 3-on-1 for the Tigers. Well, they'll go for 3, but this will give them a 7-point lead. Oh, Coach, it was a 3-on-1. They went for the perimeter shot.
Well, you know, both possessions a little disappointing. So Madagascar coming out here really flat. You know, started with the shot selection from Madi. He chose to crash, which left nobody back in transition. And even then, just slow to react to the miss from Nwamu.
Well, Nwamu at the free throw line currently, because he's had a relatively okay game so far. 8 points so far this evening for Nigeria, converting 2 out of 4 from the perimeter. And Nigeria currently, collectively tonight, 50% from the charity stripe. I don't think you realize how open he was, but still having the lead. Agata goes baseline. Reverse layup now. He's got 15.
Yeah, great drive there. I think Madagascar's got to adjust. He's been able to get into the paint all game against them. Let's see if he can beat you from the perimeter.
Well, nice take by Kiadi. Sometimes I feel maybe he's too much of a pass-first point guard.
Well, it's interesting. You know, they've got Raji on the bench to start this half, going with Kiadi here, seeing if he can be a spark.
Very much different backcourt, of course, or mindset, I should say, coming into the second half for the Tigers. You can see making those penetrations, and I believe now it's the 3rd trip to the charity stripe already here in the 3rd quarter. Well, here was a smooth play by Caleb Agata. Still leading scorer in the game so far with 50. 7 out of 12 from the field tonight.
Yeah, great game for him so far. Continuing from that experience with Ali Tripoli and the BAL championship that he helped lead them to.
Okogie missing the first free throw. Nigeria tonight so far have missed 6 free throws. Second one goes in. A bit of a coming together there now. I don't think a foul has been called here, but oh no, it has, yeah. So this one indeed is going to be called against Talib Zana.
Now that's twice they've caught him. You can see here. Yeah, you can see him grabbing the arm.
Oh yeah, you can, yep.
You know, that's twice that they've got him on that.
Madagascar trying to build something. Well, the pass is anticipated into the corner. That's going to remain their possession deep in the corner. Kind of sense a little bit more aggression, more confidence here in Nigeria's defense. But what can Madagascar build? Well, they got to shoot it. Time's winding down. Ellie's got to put it up. I don't know if that touched the rim.
Wow, well, the officials all signaled that it did. Hard to tell from our angle.
And ever since Lobasoa's left the game, Madagascar don't quite have the size inside. Nigeria looking for their biggest lead. Okogie goes in, throws it down. And I'm not thinking Okogie's going to get an inadvertent assist on that play.
Well, you know, again, just simple pick and roll. It's been a struggle for Madagascar, especially with Lovasoa on the bench. So curious to see what got him out of the game so early and how long he's going to be sitting there.
Well, that's going to be a second team foul against the Tigers. I mean, right there, I think he was trying to, you think he was trying to kick that to the weak side corner? Let's have a look here.
Yeah, I actually do. The way he hooked that pass, so a little bit of a lucky break there.
Mamadi coming off one screen. Double crossover. Tough fadeaway, not getting anything from the offense.
Well, that's really good defense there from Zana. That's exactly how you want to guard Madi. Keep him in front of you. Let him take these mid-range jump shots.
See Chakatana to vent. Now Okogie, pump fakes. Tries to bully his way in. No foul call this time. And here's where Madagascar is going to push. Oh, nice pass in the main, goes in. And just cannot finish, but it's the presence coach.
Yeah, great pass there from Kiadi. Got to finish if you're Madagascar.
I mean, Okobundu didn't need to do much there, but just him being there made that a tough shot.
Well, that's it. You know that these athletic bigs are lurking around the rim. It makes you think twice.
And now Nigeria cruising ahead here with a 9-point lead. And you start to wonder, they're going to call timeout, Madagascar, but will Lovasoa come back in at any point? See Traka, he's made 1 3, fires another one. Nothing going in for Madagascar. As now the Tigers looking for their first double-digit lead. Ogata finds Okobundu. That time a foul will be, no foul again. But that will be a baseline possession to Nigeria. So no timeout is going to be called here, I don't think. Oh, no, it is, yep. So Madagascar are going to call timeout, so we'll head down to their bench. I mean, what would you change necessarily if you were in their situation?
Well, again, you know, a really early sub for Lovasoa. Not sure what got him off the court, but they've struggled in this game when he's been on the bench.
Une chose importante, il faut qu'on reste calme, d'accord? L'énergie qu'on doit mettre, elle est sur le terrain, les mecs, ok? Sur le plan défensif. On l'a dit tout à l'heure, à un moment donné, ils vont partir sur des situations de 1 contre 1 dans l'axe. Si on vient aider derrière, on va avoir du mal à reprendre les gars. Il faut qu'on arrive à contrôler les situations de 1 contre 1 dans l'axe. Ok avec ça? Derrière, on joue plus vite ensemble, les mecs. On commence à prendre trop de temps pour jouer ensemble. partez sur la situation de pic à 45. Pic à 45. Ok, on joue là-dessus. Ok.
So it's going to be a baseline possession to Nigeria, leading by 9 points. 5:13 to go. And, you know, Coach, you were there 10 years ago, but 10 years has been a while since the Tigers have won the FIBA AfroBasket.
Well, they're hungry to get back on that podium. Obviously, you know, a magical run that we had with that team. You know, talking with Stan Okoye earlier before the start of this game, you know, he was excited about the group that they're bringing here to Angola.
We just saw that QR code. Download the official FIBA AfroBasket app on your smartphone, tablet, and Android to get the best news, highlights, and stats that matter to you most. The FIBA AfroBasket app. Download it today. Agata. It's going to beat the shot clock. No, it's going to be a 24-second violation. Well, Coach, I think that should potentially have been an 11-point lead to the Tigers.
Well, you know, it looked like Agata was on his way to another 2 points there. The pick and roll coverage, that time it was Spanish pick and roll with the guard saying the back pick on the big, but just those simple high ball screens have been challenging for Madagascar defensively.
Well, Madagascar's got to find something in their offense. Sitraka finding Kiati. Tries a double clutch, goes in, count it. Well, why doesn't he become the focal point for them? Because that's the second time from the mid-range off the dribble. He's been unguardable. The elevation when he comes off the dribble, Coach.
Yeah, you know, really dynamic in pick and roll play. We saw that earlier from him in the first half. The change-up from Madi, who's really trying to get all the way to the rim.
Well, Kiati with a chance to cut this down to 6 points. Converts a three-point play. Okogie currently on the bench for Nigeria. Neither team's had a double-digit lead in this game. Okabogu went for the lob. Okoye's made 1-3. Pump fake, step through. Just can't get it. Another offensive rebound. Gotta go up with this one, surely. Well, that's what he's in there for. And again, Okoye with his experience.
Again, Stan, a player with tremendous length, always crafty around the basket, was actually a power forward in college at Virginia Military Institute, so he's familiar with how to get rebounds.
I tell you what I like that play, what I like about that play from Kiati. He had his eyes 80% on the defender, only 20% on the hoop because he knew it was coming.
Well, he's been really crafty with the ball in his hands. You know, you've seen it with the mid-range pull-ups now from 3, and you know, we see finally Lovasoa coming back into the game. Madagascar 14 points better with him on the floor versus off. So, you know, he's checking in for Sitraka. To me, I think it's the lineup that has both of them on the court that gives Madagascar the best chance of winning this game. So curious to see if Coach comes back to that at some point here in the second half.
Well, currently playing in Switzerland. Now a chance to potentially cut this down to a 5-point deficit. And you kind of feel in this game, the way the momentum is going, Nigeria just have the potential to run away with it. But Madagascar, they don't give up, do they?
You know, they've played with a lot of confidence. It's been fun to watch. You know, they know their style, and they're not going to back down from anybody. Definitely a team that's capable of some runs here to get back in this game.
Lamu gets to the bucket, goes in, get it tonight. Good defense. And now Madagascar want to run, but they throw it back away. Not the first time they've done that tonight off a good defensive play. Lamu's made 2 threes. Make it 3. He's now 3 out of 5 from downtown.
Yeah, good pass ahead there from Nwamu. Misdirected pass from Madagascar with their transition, but Nwamu's a guy that can get hot.
And what could have been potentially a 3-point ball game now turns into an 8-point deficit. Trying to go baseline, but turns it over. Anthony stepping out of bounds. The Tigers' defense right now proven to be too much.
Yeah, you can see they've dialed up their intensity here in the second half. You heard Coach Abdul Rahman welcoming them to the game and that last time out. So, you know, clearly he wasn't happy with the intensity levels on the defensive end in the first half.
Just over 3 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Nuamu high pick and roll. Being heavily defended. Look at the points in the paint, coach. 32 points in the paint for Nigeria. And that was expected, of course. Nuamu, one more pass. There's a penetration, and that's going to be a 24-second violation. Well, those are positives, of course, for for Madagascar, because that's now the second time the Tigers have been called for a 24.
Well, their perimeter rotations have been good all game. I think their guards have done a nice job Xing out, where the corner man is going to take the second pass instead of the first pass. So they've been really good. I think where their weaknesses have been that weak side rotation at the rim.
Well, uncontested three, not going to be a problem. Lovasoa unable to battle for the rebound. Kogi going to the lane. Oh, they'll get another three from the perimeter. Three is up. Not a bad look, but unable to finish. Well, good hands on defense. Madagascar do have numbers here. They go for a quick three, and probably not the best look, but they battle for a second chance.
Sit down, sit down.
Again, trying to work that high screen. It's just not a good offensive play by Madagascar, coach.
Yeah, Rasul Antouf kind of stuck with the ball in his hands there late in the shot clock. Had not a lot of options, really.
I mean, they're trying to get Madi just a little bit of a breather. Now they also are taking Kiati to the bench. But, of course, as you mentioned, from Austin Rosano Jatovo, I mean, that is tough. You've got to be able to do something a little bit more productive because you are the key playmaker.
Well, with Madi on the bench right now, Kiati also on the bench, where do they go to for offense? So it's going to be curious if they can't get in transition, how they're going to find points.
And only with Lovasoa at the moment. You got to think with Big Alpha, number 12 here for Madagascar. A key area of issue is, and this is good for Nigeria because you got to capitalize, get those second chance points. Now we've seen Stan Okoye. He'll go to the free throw line for 2 shots.
Well, this is twice now. Okoye flying in there for offensive rebounds, using the length he has as a guard. But again, we haven't seen that double big lineup that Madagascar had their most success with in the first half. So not sure if there's concern over foul trouble. But at some point, I mean, this game is starting to pull away a little bit from Madagascar. I think they've got to consider going back to that.
9-point lead. Biggest margin Nigeria's had against Madagascar. Nice time, but again, good hands on defense. And now the Tigers want to run.
Yeah, it's really great drop off. Solajani not ready there to catch and receive it.
That goes out of bounds. The Tigers will get it back at 128. Well, he's got to be thinking right now, his team had that passage where they could have cut it down to 3 points. But since then, Nigeria responding with composure. Okogie now curls the screen. Hangs in the air, goes in. Simply unstoppable.
Well, that was that Luka Doncic stall step. Got the defender in the air. Great body balance there. Nice drive and finish from Okogie.
Biggest lead of the game currently. Well, there's another take, and that's much better because this will be a trip to the free throw line for Madagascar.
Yeah, much better take there, playing to his strengths. We saw the previous possessions caught on the perimeter late in the clock, but really much better penetrating, trying to be a playmaker around the rim.
Where I think Austin Rasulon Jatavo could be a key playmaker, as you mentioned, is that he goes both ways. He goes left, he goes right, and I think for him at the moment, he can't be settling for mid-range. You've got to get into the paint and make the Nigerian defense collapse.
Yeah, I mean, easier said than done, but for sure, I think they've had some moments where they were able to get in, find drop-offs, find kickouts.
Well, currently at the free throw line, Austin Rasulon Jatovo here for Madagascar. Unable to get the first free throw. Well, he's currently playing in MN1 division in France for Saint-Vallier Basket Drôme. It's great to see with a lot of these, especially the Madagascan players, where you got players in Switzerland, Spain, the USA, and France, and even a couple playing domestic in Madagascar. Coach, I love that when you have a national team where players are all over the world.
Yeah, a lot of international experience in this team, and you see right there the interior presence of Lovasoa.
Well, they try to go high post. He's made a few from the mid-range, but he hasn't taken one since the first quarter. Coach, I like that mid-range look from him, but it's a long time since the first quarter. But Nigeria, wow, what happened there, Coach?
Probably a little too much there on the pass ahead. I'm not sure what he would have done with it if he came down, or that Igbanu would have been one-on-one there. I think you want to hold for that last possession rather than try to capitalize.
3 seconds difference between game and shot clock. That's Alon Jatobo. Just trying to dribble this one down. Final seconds. Twisting, turn it, avoids the block. And again, 2 good drives to the bucket with the Tigers. They have time with Agata. Agata gets it off, but doesn't get it. And as we head into the 4th and final quarter, it is indeed Nigeria who have a 9-point lead, winning that 3rd quarter by 8 points. And Coach, I've got to agree with you. If you don't go with Sitraka and Lovasoa in the lineup, where do the points come from inside the paint for Madagascar?
Well, they've really struggled not only offensively but defensively. So I think there's a presence the two of them bring. It leads to more stops. That allows them to get out in transition, and that's where they've been at their best.
Well, you saw from the statistics, both teams, neither of them hitting a 3-pointer in the 3rd quarter, but where the Nigeria haven't been as good as Madagascar, the free throw shooting has been very consistent. Madagascar currently 80%, but we saw the points in the paint disparity. That is where Nigeria has been absolutely dominant in this game, Coach.
Well, you saw Talib Zana earlier, and now Agata here, able to get to the rim and finish. I think Madagascar's got to put more of a focus on protecting that paint. Hard for them when the 2 bigs haven't been on the floor at the same time.
Of course, neither team, they've always gone with a man-to-man matchup defensively. Do you think at some point here in the 4th quarter, the idea of flirting with any form of his own defense could have some impact?
I think for sure they've got to consider something different. So, obviously 3rd quarter was a struggle for them. If they can't get stops, they can't get out and run. And, I think it was really a half-court game, and that's an advantage to Nigeria.
Well, that young man has had so far, I would say, a relatively good impact in this game, and that is Okubunda. Only 6 points but 5 rebounds, but Coach, he has indeed made some big buckets here for Nigeria. But basketball fans, use that QR code and download Courtside 1891, the home of international basketball. Download Courtside 1891 and watch the warm-up games ahead of the 2025 FIBA AfroBasket. Madagascar will get the first possession of the 4th quarter. Only their 4th FIBA AfroBasket in history. The very first was 1972. But the last time they were here was back in 2011, 14 years ago. We'll see how this game pans out. Lovasoa inside the paint. Now gets caught a double team. Bit of contact, no foul call, but good defense.
Yeah, really good rotation there. Lovasoa's got to see that double team, kick it out to the perimeter.
Nigeria going to a pick and pop. Christian Mekawolu misses last one. Can't get this one. Madagascar comes up with it. Well, they had numbers. And a foul is going to be called against Mekawolu. Well, wasted opportunity in transition, Coach.
Well, it's a great throw ahead, but you can see here, Rija sees Okoye coming from behind. Huge size advantage there for Okoye, so decides to back it out. I think it's a good foul here from Mekawolu. Make them earn it in the half court.
Baseline possession coming up here for Madagascar. Olivio getting Okoye up on the ground. Again, just one too many passes culminating into a turnover. And now Okoye goes in. This time the foul's called, so Stan will go to the free throw line. A chance to extend this yet again to a double-digit lead.
Yeah, nice transition there. Good ball movement from Nigeria. Okoye finding the rim at the end of this.
Well, chance now for them, but Sitraka back into lineup. So here is the big lineup. Now we're still yet to see Amadi come in. So the key for Madagascar is that they also have Kiati. So I do wonder, will we see those two backcourt players come in at some points?
Well, the double bigs finally back together. We only saw it for 30 seconds so far in this half. Let's see if they can chip away at this lead.
Well, Nigeria right now just want this game a little bit more than Madagascar. Okoye goes baseline. Finds Mekawolu, fires three. But again, another offensive board. This is telling a big difference between these two teams. And again, simply that easy. And this team, coach, they've been too big in the paints.
Well, great duck in there from Igbanu. Okoye with the good vision up top and just a little too easy. Lovasoa probably concerned about picking up another foul there.
Well, they've got to make this three. Tough shot, but again, the offense not getting into any rhythm at the moment for Madagascar. 13-point lead to the Tigers. Nigeria forcing the switch on defense. Now they want to clear out. Mekawolu coming up for high screen. Ankle breaker, mid-range. And I think indeed a timeout potentially, oh no, a substitution. Well, that mid-range elevation. Susie comes off the screen. There's the ankle breaker on the help side. That's beautiful, coach. That is beautiful.
Well, you can see Lovasoa unfortunately slips down, but great mid-range pull-up there from Nuga.
And now, indeed, it's a 15-point lead to Nigeria. Madagascar's got to find ways to get Sitraka into the game, but that's going to be a kickball violation.
Yeah, and the opposite trail official having to make that call. I think Madagascar a little surprised they didn't get an earlier whistle for the kick.
Kiati is back into the lineup. That's another unforced turnover. Now Nigeria have numbers. Here we go. Throws it down with two hands. And Martin Igbanu right now forcing Madagascar to call timeout. It's a 17-point lead. The Tigers, champions of the AfroBasket 2015. Who knows? Could we see them on the podium this time, Coach?
Well, you can see here in the second half, they've really dialed up their defensive pressure. Now you're getting to see the length and athleticism on display. That's how they're going to have to play throughout this tournament.
We'll go down to the benches to find out what the coaches have to say. Well, actually, no, Coach, I'll tell you what, there's a question I wanted to ask you, of course. If you are in this scenario and you're Madagascar, and indeed it's the fourth and final quarter, you're down by 17, what do you switch up defensively?
Well, I think at this point, right, you know, you're down by 17. You're going to have to force the tempo somehow. I think that's going to mean more trapping, more aggressive ball screen coverages. So the middle pick and roll has been a challenge for them all game. But, you know, clearly they've got to get this tempo much quicker to have a chance to come back.
And when you take, let's go to Nigeria. When you take a player like Christian Mekawolu, who, you know, offensively has been, you know, relatively quiet, but it's the intangibles he's been doing. The nonstop setting screens and being, you know, his movement. That's put a lot of pressure on the post-interior defense of Madagascar. Is that a fair point?
Well, yeah, I mean, they've struggled with his physicality. So, you know, although this is an undersized Nigerian team by traditional standards, their strength has definitely caused issues for Madagascar in this game.
Well, 7:40 to go. Madagascar down by 17. 14 long years since they've returned to the AfroBasket. Still Madi on the bench at the moment here for Madagascar. Sitraka had a dominant first half. Tries to go for the elevation. And coach, they've got to go to him now.
Well, he's going to have to step up in a big way down the stretch here.
15 points. Nigeria going pick and roll. Mekawolu kicking this one out. Okoye corner. Big time three by the veteran. And Stan the man. I'll ask you again, how many times did he do that for you, coach?
Well, you know, really efficient game here. See him picking up and pressuring, but I'd expect him to have a bigger role here.
Well, they've got to get something. Trying to find separation. Mid-range up. In and out, can't get it. Well, a foul had been committed. Oh, no. Actually, a turnover there. So Madi's coming back in with 6:25. 18 points of difference. Well, there's a take there, but I think maybe one area that Madagascar are going to find it difficult here in the AfroBasket. They have talented players, but respectfully, the depth in these two teams is probably very, very big.
Yeah, there's no question. You know, Nigeria's really played the entire roster in this game. You see Divine Eke now getting into the game. He was a big part of their qualification rounds. And that's just something Madagascar doesn't have. That interior depth has been a struggle for them this game.
Nigeria's been led by Caleb Agato, 17 points, 7 out of 10 from inside the rainbow. But now Madi back into the lineup. Sitraka, he's made 1 3 tonight, makes another one. He has been their go-to player, and they've got to continue to go to him if they got to come back.
Well, he's going to have to carry the load here down the stretch, but they've got to find a way to force some turnovers. Need something a little more aggressive. I think Nigeria's just going to go to some isolation here up the top.
Well, got a step back, can't get it. Another offensive rebound for the Tigers. That's going to be a turnover. Madi still has it. But you got to go to Sitraka. Sitraka, one-legged fadeaway. Fighting for offensive rebounds. Madi kicks out. There's another pump fake, and a foul has been committed.
Well, good ball movement there from Madagascar. Tracking the offensive rebound. Madi drawing and kicking to the corner. That's their style of play. They got to keep the ball moving, make quick decisions on the perimeter.
Well, Coach, Lovasoa was wide open, and they went for the lob pass.
Yeah, it was a bad decision there from Kiadi, kind of throwing that one up for grabs, putting Sitraka in a very bad spot there. Had no choice but take a foul.
Well, those are the kind of mistakes, unfortunately, you cannot make here at the continent's greatest basketball competition, the FIBA AfroBasket. Nigeria will capitalize. Lama's been great so far. Can't get this one. Agata coming up with a rebound. Guamo looking to attack. Goes up against Lovasoa, showing no fear. Right in the paints.
We're seeing a lot of isolation basketball from Nigeria. Getting the matchup they want, spreading the court out, and then going at these players one-on-one.
Trying to go to Sitraka. Good help side defense. Forcing the turnover. The Tigers have numbers. Simon down the middle. Kicks out Okogie. He's only got 5 points tonight. Sitraka comes up with the board. Now he wants to run. Sitraka dribbling into traffic, but somehow finding a way to finish.
Well, nice finish there, but if you're Nigeria, you got to keep him on that right hand, not let him come back to a strong hand finish.
Well, he's got 18 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist to go to his name, but he does have 3 fouls as well. But still Madagascar trail by 15. Nigeria just getting some spacing here in their offense. Agata, deep 3, sinks it. And that is tough. Sitraka's hand is faced, but Caleb Agata has been on fire today, Coach.
He's been tremendous for them. You know, a really strong qualification round for him as a player. It's great to see him continue that here at AfroBasket.
Agata currently 4 rebounds away from a potential double-double for the Tigers. Olusola just losing his balance. Now Kiati coming up with his own rebound. Not a lot of time is now Madi. He'll fire a 3. That's not going to go. The Tigers sensing they have total control. Well, got to look for an ISO, and again, avoiding the block yet again. Coach, he's looking like a superstar play-by-play.
He's been tremendous in this game, and you can see Nigeria content to just find the matchup they want, isolate that player, and let them go to the rim.
Well, there's the follow-up, no good. Lovasoa comes up with it. Sitraka setting yet again another high bull screen. Finds up Amadi, he'll pump fake. Now goes to the tough step back, he'll fire. Nothing going in here at the moment. Goes out of bounds.
Yeah, and that's where Madi's got to develop. You can see Okogie, smart veteran player, closing out short, forcing him to that 3. And, you know, if Agata's going to hit 3s like that, he's going to be a handful to defend.
Well, he's been terrific tonight, there's no question. Because now he's 3 rebounds away, Caleb Agata, from that double-double. But you mentioned it. I mean, he was one of their key players within the AfroBasket qualifiers. And you know, the qualifiers didn't exactly start out too well for Nigeria. You know, the competition was very, very tough, but you know, they found a way to pull together. And if you look at this team, a lot of them have been together for a very long time, Coach.
Well, I mean, Caleb Agata, one of the players who played in all of those qualification games, was huge for them, 19 points per game throughout that stretch. And then, you know, also had a ton of success leading Al Ali Tripoli to the BAL championship. So he's had a tremendous season as a player. You can tell he's coming in here with a lot of confidence, and maybe he's becoming their go-to guy for this tournament.
And another key play, this man, Ike Nwamu, currently 12 points this evening. He's had 2 out of 5 from the perimeter, 5 out of 10 in total from the field. But what I like about him is the combo guard aspect he adds to the Tigers. You can play him off guard, Coach. You can make him as a primary ball handler. He is so versatile and very unselfish.
Well, I mean, Ike Nwamu, you know, a longtime feature of this national team. He's a guy that can really fill it from the perimeter. They don't have a natural point guard, so a lot of these guys are kind of carrying the load as ball handlers. Ike's another one of those players that can do that.
The big question for the Tigers, 10 years since you coached them to that FIBA AfroBasket championship. I mean, it's only the opening game, but I'm telling you, they are going to be one of the many teams that we could see stand on the podium in this arena and lift the 31st championship of the AfroBasket.
Well, there's no question about that. And, you know, we're going to have some really great matchups throughout this tournament, teams who feel that they have a legitimate chance of winning. And I think the qualification rounds are going to be really exciting basketball.
Well, the day won't be finished when this game is over, Coach. You and I both know that, as we have the 2-time defending champions, Tunisia, going up against Cameroon. And it just seems like every game there's more drama, there's more excitement. Anybody's day it could be here in Luanda.
Well, no question about that. You know, a lot of times, too, the first game of the tournament, you're still feeling your way through what you got as a team. So I think, you know, as we get later into this tournament, the knockout stages especially, you'll have identified who are the go-to guys for each team, and of course those guys have to deliver in the big moments.
Okogie had the wide open look. Now we're on to 2.5. 19-point lead to the Tigers. Sitraka finding Amadi on the back door, goes in, gets rejected. Well, wants to go for another one. And now Sitraka does officially move up to 20 points. He's had a terrific game tonight, but unfortunately, it's not been enough for Madagascar.
Well, Akabundo again, another athletic highlight reel play. That's what he brings to this team. I mean, his length and athleticism, so impressive.
Well, that's going to be foul number 4. Well, Sitraka's got to be careful there because, or is that foul number 5? No, I think that's only his 4th foul.
Yeah, I think that's just number 4, but that's just the frustration of this game. You know, maybe a little contact on the arm there. Usually that's something in certainly AfroBasket play that the officials would let go on. You see Akabundo there getting up for the big block.
Agata's got a hot hand. Working those bull screens. That time turned it over. Kiati comes up with it. It's now run to 2 minutes. A bit of a coming together, but that's going to be foul number 5 unless, no. Is that a foul or is that an out-of-bounds violation?
No, I think they just went with the deflection. Certainly could have been his 5th foul. I like the decision from the official of not giving it there.
Well, Nigeria have persevered in this game. They were definitely challenged, Coach, in the second quarter, but did finish the first half with the 1-point lead thanks to the follow-up tip-in by Akabundu. I mean, that was a big-time play, and although it didn't necessarily send a statement on the score, I felt it sent a mental message, of course, to Madagascar that, look, if you want to win this game, you've got to stop giving away so many second chances.
Yeah, I mean, you know, anytime you can find some momentum heading into the halftime, I think it's a great thing for your team. But clearly Nigeria coming out here in the second half, dialing up their ball pressure and just overall defensive intensity. Great job there from Coach Abdul Rahman of firing up his troops, having them ready to come out and play harder here in the second half.
Well, Madagascar giving some time now to Hasina Rasulan Andrania, who actually did play some time for Madagascar in the FIBA AfroBasket qualifiers, but just coming in for his final 115. There's a lob now. Sitraka giving a bump there to Akabundu. Now numbers here for Madagascar. That time throwing it away. Agata comes up with it. Another bit of contact, but not finishing there. And Ken, I mean, he's highly underrated. Very underrated. He's big, he's physical, and he's mobile.
Yeah, I mean, extremely mobile. Had a really solid season for Varese in the Italian league. Great pass there, too, from Agbada, who's had a tremendous game.
Final seconds. Lamadi, he's only made 1 3 tonight. Now making his second three-pointer of the evening. And again, Madagascar must continue to score here because points difference matters, Coach. You mentioned it. Every possession, it will count here at the AfroBasket in the group stage.
Yeah, it really does. You know, be interesting to see here. Some of these guys maybe don't have that experience to understand that. But, you know, 2 points here can matter in tie-break scenarios. So both teams need to play this out until the final horn sounds.
Well, there was a three-pointer by Madi. That time Agata got called for the offensive foul. Here's Madi finishing with 11 points this evening, 3 rebounds. Now he could add to his tally, but unfortunately, Coach, Matias Madi does have 6 turnovers.
Yeah, I think, you know, not the best game for him. Obviously, first time on this big stage as a young player can be a lot.
Sitraka's made 2 threes. That one almost going in. Madagascar want to defend for 1 final possession, but they got 1 foul to give, actually. Oh, there you go. Oh my goodness! Did Tigers said good night. And that man, as he did at the end of the first half, Coach, he's done at the very end of the game. Akabundu just sent a statement to the FIBA AfroBasket.
Well, Akabundu, the athleticism we've been talking about all game on display here. I think that's going to be the first of many highlight dunks we're going to see in this tournament from him.
Well, the Tigers win tonight, and their fans said it. Good night. Well, they win this game 77-59 against Madagascar. A terrific win for the 2015 FIBA AfroBasket champions. Great performances this evening from Caleb Agata, finishing with 22 and 7 rebounds, but also credit to Ike Nwamu, 12 points, was 5 assists away from a potential, or 5 rebounds away, I should say, from a double-double. Well, Coach, I mean, the points in the paint was a big talking point. Madagascar have talent, but the depth in their lineup, you saw it when they took Lovasoa. Well, they changed in the first half. When they went to that smaller lineup, they just didn't have the physicality to compete with Nigeria.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can see it just kind of wore them down over the course of the game. I thought Nigeria did a really nice job in the second half, turning up their intensity defensively, forcing a few more turnovers, getting out in transition. A huge advantage there. 21 points off of turnovers versus only 10 for Madagascar.
Well, 33 turnovers in total between these two teams. Madagascar had 17, but you know, Nigeria, I felt the bulk of their turnovers came into the early stages of the game when they were just trying to, you know, fill the temperature of the game, of course. But they got better as it went on.
Yeah, I mean, I think overall, especially Madagascar, first time on this stage in so long, all these players lacking that experience of playing in an AfroBasket tournament, did a nice job of hanging with Nigeria, but that depth and that talent, I think, just over the course of the game wore them down.
The beautiful fans from Nigeria celebrating with their national team, the Niger style. The Tigers win, but it's been 10 long years since Nigeria, then coached by you, Coach Will Voigt, winning that AfroBasket championship. I'm telling you, it's only day 2, but this tournament, the anticipation just gets more and more exciting for every team.
Well, no question. You know, we've seen some of these potential favorites really show up here in their first game. So, you know, obviously yesterday, Senegal and Angola putting on a show, and here Nigeria, I think, showing what they can do in the second half.
What do you think about Madagascar? I mean, they have a good 5 lineup, but do they have to play longer for them to be successful, or do they want to keep going to these rotations?
Well, I think, you know, for them, it's really going to have to be the 2 big lineup playing big minutes for them. So you can see with Lovasoa, you know, anytime he was coming off the court, their interior defense took a knock, and you know, Satraka was really their one shining offensive player. So those guys are going to have to play big minutes in this tournament for them to find some success.
And of course, the benefit of having both Satraka and Lovasoa on the floor is if Satraka does draw a lot of pressure from the bigs or help side defenders, you got Mamadi on the perimeter. You've also got Kiati. But Lovasoa, we saw in the early stages, he has a nice little pick and pop mid-range game for a big man.
Well, I think the biggest thing it does, you know, they were getting defensive stops when they had the double bigs, and now they can get out and run, which is what they do best. So, you know, when Nigeria was able to exploit the interior, now they're taking the ball out of bounds. Unlikely they're going to get transition opportunities that way, and it became much more a half-court game for them, which was a real struggle in the second half.
Well, like Libya yesterday in the opening game against Angola, when it's a long wait, a long return, of course, to the AfroBasket, the first game is always going to be grueling. But the key thing for them is, listen, go get a day's break, rest, have a lot to think about, reflect, but come ready in your next matchup.
Well, I mean, we got to remember, you know, none of these guys from Madagascar have played in an AfroBasket tournament. So it's a big stage for them. You know, a young player, especially like Madi, who we know is capable of big games. I think maybe getting the jitters of that first game out of the way, understanding what it's going to take to be successful. So, you know, hopefully he's a player as this tournament moves on that can really step up to them.
Well, Cote d'Ivoire currently playing against Rwanda in Namibia. The other game going on in Namibia later on, we'll see the Congo DR take on Cape Verde. Well, later, in literally just over an hour, we're going to see Tunisia, the 2-time defending champions of the FIBA AfroBasket, go up against the mighty Cameroon. Well, basketball fans, we'll see you for that game later on. But for now, from me and Coach Will Voigt, it's goodbye, and we'll see you soon.